Om. Om. Gurudbrahma Gurudvishnu Gurudevo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punahan Namami Gaudapadancha Shankaram Sri Sureshwaram Swaminam Satchidanandam Indram Tam Jnana Rupine. Om Om Narayan Narayan Narayan. Today, being Sunday, we have Gita. Okay, this is a weekly class. We have a long gap between one class and other. Okay, so as a introduction to 20th shloka, a brief Avataranika means a brief introduction Shankaracharya was giving. Jnani is free from karma, akarma. One who understands himself as akarma. Akarma means free from duality, free from individuality, free from the world. One who understands himself as the non-dual being, non-dual consciousness. Okay, now how does he behave? How does he live in the world? Okay, because his understanding is to himself. His understanding we discussed. His understanding is to himself from his standpoint. But when you, how is he seen in the world? That's a point. See, there are two levels. From these two standpoints you have to see. To understand Vedanta, you have always these two standpoints. One is the standpoint of his own anubhava. Another is how he appears in the world, from the standpoint of the world, from the standpoint of body, from the standpoint of others. Okay. Now, yastu akarmadi darshi, this paragraph we have, I think most of the paragraph we have covered. Only one last point was remaining. I just read out. Yastu akarmadi darshi, so akarmadi darshananeva. One who understands that I am actionless, I am free from duality. That from that very understanding, he stands as non-dual. See, this is a good point. One who understands, one who intuits non-duality, he stands as non-dual. One who understands non-duality, he stands non-dual. So, Nishkarma, he is free from all actions. Action involves an individuality, a movement in terms of time and place. Since he is free from individuality, free from time and place, his existence, his nature, his being cannot be referred to time, cannot be thought in terms of time, because time itself is a relative, is from a given point. From a given point, time and space can be measured. But he being free from all standpoints, he is being a non-dual being, absolute being, he is free from karma. Sannyasi. He is a sannyasi means he is totally free from any karma, any individuality, and then it's a resultant activity. So, jivana matrartha cheshta san. So, we discussed a baby, how a baby acts, spontaneous action. Here, when we say karma, A conscious karma is called karma here, a spontaneous karma. Now, to understand the spontaneous karma, you have to understand it from true level. One is a mechanical karma, another is a spontaneous karma. These are two extremes. In the middle is a deliberate karma, intentional karma. One is a mechanical karma or an instinctive karma. Just a machine does mechanical karma. An animal does instinctive karma. Machine does mechanically, inert object. An animal does an instinctive karma. Baby also does instinctive karma. Machine, animals and baby. In these three you can see an instinctive karma. There is no conscious thought, just things happen. But when you grow up, you start thinking. You have a will. You consciously use the will, take a decision and then act. Okay. So here, this is a conscious action. So it is the conscious action that binds a person, that produces punya, papa, because a conscious action means a conscious individuality. Conscious action means you are conscious of yourself as an individual. Okay? Baby is not conscious, or an animal is not conscious of itself as an individual. A dog doesn't know that I am a dog. Okay? A cow doesn't know that I am a cow. Baby also doesn't know that I am a baby. Baby is not conscious of itself as an individual. Animal, of course, has no consciousness. I mean, a machine has no consciousness at all. Okay? So, but animal and baby is not conscious of its individuality. Whereas another person, a common person, who uses his will, who consciously acts, consciously means who uses his will, and such person is conscious of his individuality. A person who is conscious of individuality uses his will and consciously takes decision and acts. In those things he may be motivated by certain selfish desires, certain impulses. Still he is conscious as an individual. Okay? He may have some impulses. He may have a partly instincts also. Partly instinct, partly impulses also. Still he is conscious. Still he is conscious as an individual. Okay? But now, when we talk of an enlightened man, a jnani, he transcends all this. Okay? He transcends that conscious individuality. He becomes all consciousness without an individuality. Okay? He transcends all conscious. He transcends this individual consciousness, and therefore the will doesn't pressurize him. Generally, for any other people, a conscious individual who is using his conscious will, consciously takes decision, the will persecutes him, isn't it? Persecutes means pressurizes him. You are worried about the decision. Is this decision going to be right or wrong? If I fail, if I succeed, I'll be happy. If I fail, there is a worry, there is a tension, there is a fear, there is an anxiety. All this accompany sense of individuality. Okay? When you are conscious of individuality, that is jiva. Then that consciousness of yourself as an individual, you use your will. Then along with the will, there is always anxiety, worry, tension, because that is the nature of individuality. As long as you are an individual jiva, these anxieties are inevitable. Okay? They are inevitable. So, jnani, enlightened man, he understands he is free from karma. Free from karma means the will ceases to be coming from individual consciousness. The will and individual consciousness, both of them, he understands as only appearances and not belonging to him. He understands himself, he stands like a screen of the TV. Okay, the TV screen. The TV screen without picture is a simply light without any picture. Have you ever seen? The TV screen without any particular channel, without any particular picture, is a simple TV screen with a light. Simply glowing TV screen, full of light, no picture, no color, no form. Okay? Similarly, he stands like a transparent mirror. Transparent mirror doesn't reflect any individuality, any action, good and bad or anything, no color, no forms, nothing. It is a simple transparent mirror. Or the simply illumining TV screen without any picture. Sometimes, I don't know in other places, but in India it happens. When you switch on your TV is on, the channel has to come from there. Okay? The telecast, due to some obstruction, telecast stops. So the channel doesn't appear, but your TV is glowing. You can see the simple bare screen full of light, white light, beautiful light, but no color, no form, no picture, nothing. Similarly, he stands as a pure consciousness, unlimited, infinite, not being an individual. You assume an individuality, then the will, then the anxiety, worry, tension, fear, all those things come. Because individuality identifies with the body, subject to time and place, subject to cause and effect to karma, karma phala, all the fears, worries, tension, anxiety, hope, sometimes that, sometimes this, all this thing. So here Jnani is akarma, understands himself to be akarma, means he understands himself to be free from the pressure of will, and one who is pressurized is an individuality. So therefore his consciousness is emptied of his individuality. See, it's very interesting. He is consciousness, but without a consciousness of individuality. So that individuality is erased. He remains pure consciousness without a sense of individuality, and therefore the will doesn't become a pressure on him. He stands as a screen behind all the films in your TV screen, therefore he is not affected. So such a person, he is by his nature free from karma. Okay, karma means the individuality, the taking decision, using your will, and all accompanying pressures, worries and tensions. Okay, so he is free from will. Free from will doesn't mean here he becomes just an animal, or he becomes a machine, that the things automatically, he doesn't become an automaton like a machine. Okay, he is conscious, but the will doesn't pressurize him, because the will becomes so spontaneous. The will becomes so spontaneous because the way, if you see the world in the worldly standpoint, from his standpoint, he is free. From his standpoint, he is free from individuality. Therefore, he is free. He transcends time and place, and he is free. But when you see him from the world, from the time and place, then he appears a tentative, apparent individuality, which he is not. See, just like in a drama for the onlookers, he appears as a role, as a character, but he himself stands independent of the character which he is playing in a drama. The actor transcends. Actor is independent of the role he assumes in a drama, but the role is visible to onlookers, not to himself, because the role doesn't pressurize him. The role has got his own activities, good and bad, and the worries and tensions, property. The role is in a drama, in a story. All the activities in a story, the drama, all that pressurizes the actor, pressurizes the role, but not the actor. Actor is independent of the very role. Okay? Similar, but the role appears to the drama, to the onlooker. Similarly, he appears to the other. He appears from the worldly standpoint. He appears to the onlooker as if an individual. The individuality which he transcends. See, He appears as an individual which himself doesn't have, which himself is free, because he is not bogged down, he is not pressurized by that individuality. He himself stands like an actor in a drama. Actor is not worried about the problems of a role, because the problems of a role belong to the role, not to the actor. Okay, so Jnani stands as akarma. Sannyasi means in this sense. Sannyasi transcends, becomes free from the consciousness of his, becomes free from the sense of individuality, and accompanying the will and the activity and the results and the worldly relations, experiences, worldly experiences, relationships, success and failure, gain and loss, all those things belong to the individuality. The sense of individuality he transcends. So he is akarma. That means he is free from karma. Spontaneous. Spontaneous means in his understanding he just is. He is only being, an existence, a pure existence, a happy existence, infinite existence, infinite consciousness, without, because it is an individuality that comes under pressure. See, this, note this point. All the pressures of individual, all the pressures of jiva, all the pressures of samsara, or when you assume an individuality, it is the jiva that who suffers. Okay, the good and bad, karma phalam, activity and the result of action. So result of action two ways. One is you experience now the result of past, and also you hope for better but worry about tomorrow, become anxious about tomorrow. So the result is, the present is a result of past, and the future is a result of present. So while acting with the present, your mind is worried about tomorrow, and also worried that, oh, regret about the past, because past I have done like that, because of that I got these things. So this regret regarding the past and the worry about tomorrow, anxiety and worry about tomorrow, this means a cause and effect relationship. So one who thinks of himself as related to cause and effect is individual. You may understand what is individuality. Individuality, the sense of individuality, the consciousness of individuality is individuality. What is that consciousness of individuality? What is that sense of individuality? A sense of individuality which sees related to cause and effect. It feels that I am a part of this series of cause and effect relation. I am relative to cause and effect. That means I feel the regret about the past. Sometimes I feel little happy also. Oh, I am lucky. Sometimes you feel lucky that you have done something good. You have some good past. Sometimes you feel lucky. Sometimes you regret for the past. Sometimes you hope for better. Sometimes you become anxious about tomorrow. You hope for better, or sometimes you become anxious of tomorrow. So this thinking, this worry, this regret, or you feel lucky, or you hope for better, or you become anxious, these feelings, these experiences, this experiencing individuality is related to past, future and present. This is called a time-bound individuality. Individuality is time-related. Time-related is individuality. The pure consciousness is timeless. The sakshi, the witnessing consciousness is timeless. See, the whole wakeful consciousness as a whole, not a part of the waking state, not an individual who is a part of the waking state, part of the waking world, but the whole wakeful consciousness, which is the basis, which is like a TV screen on which all the pictures appear, good and bad and right and wrong and all. But TV screen itself is unaffected, okay? Or a film screen. Film screen itself is unaffected. Therefore, you stand unaffected by all these various appearances. He is free from individuality. He is free from time. He is free from cause and effect relationship. This is called akarma. I think, I don't know whether you have understood this. Akarma is a technical term. In India, karma means we take worldly action and all that. Worldly activity, and also the other karma is past karma, future karma. The karma means the luck and bad luck, good luck, all that. the karma, the result of karma. So one is karma is activity, another is karma is the result of past punya and papa. Okay, the law of karma, according to which, that's what we call cause and effect relation. Cause and effect is two level. One is the physical cause and effect, which our science studies, the cause and effect relationship which our physical sciences study. Another is the religious science. Religious science means religion. Religion understands there is a cause and effect, that is karma, we call it. That punya papa, virtuous and vice, the meritorious and religious meritorious and unmeritorious actions you do. Okay, the acts which you perform, they produce some punya and papa. That is also a law of cause and effect. So the law of cause and effect works at two levels. One is at the physical level, another is the religious level. Okay, but we are talking the entire cause and effect, both sthula and sukshma, both the physical as well as the internal, I mean the deeper religious level, karma level, both together. Both jnani, the enlightened man, transcends these both. So he doesn't see himself as related to, as a part of cause and effect relation, as a part of time, as a part of a process. He doesn't feel is one being existing in a part of a process. He is independent, unaffected by past and future. Okay, this is called akarma. Akarma means in this sense, because the akarma is a very Vedantic term. Akarma is a very Vedantic term. It has to be understood in this sense, that he transcends himself as a when he transcends his individuality, he transcends from the second thing, that is the world also. So from his understanding, he is akarma. Yet how does he appear to the world? That's the question. So because how he appears to the world is, he appears as a sannyasi, as a nishkarma. Nishkarma sannyasi is a two ways you can see them. One is, he will be unlike the worldly people. Worldly people who are bound by desires and pleasures, attracted by pleasures and money and status, and driven by desires, pressurized by the results of action, pressurized by the experiences, and also the past, burdened by the past, and also worried about tomorrow. So this is the common man, the worldly man. So he is unlike the worldly people. Sannyasa means he lives totally free from that burden, the worldly man people, worldly man or worldly person people, worldly person feel. So he is free from that worldly man's life. So one who is free from that worldly man's life, how does he appear to the world? How does he appear from the worldly standpoint? So two ways. One is he totally drops away. He lives like a baby, just like a sannyasi we call them. So in a social structure like India, we have a sannyasa life. Because a sannyasa, a lifestyle also. We have, the society understands that the goal of human life is understanding the truth, transcending all this individuality, karma and all those things. And it is a rare thing. Everybody can't achieve it, but it is a goal of everybody. A very few people achieve it because it is the highest point of maturity, highest point of spirituality. So people are at a different levels of our sadhana. Different people are of different levels of sadhana. Keep on doing. A few people achieve that highest level. When they achieve that highest level, they become totally free. And for such people, the society accommodates that he is a sannyasi. That means he becomes totally free from the worldly responsibilities, because he is, when he, in his understanding, he is no more an individual. Therefore, he doesn't identify with his family. Therefore, he doesn't have the family responsibility. He doesn't identify with a social group. Therefore, he doesn't have a responsibilities, duties towards his society. He is free from a nation. Therefore, he doesn't have a duty towards his nation, because he doesn't identify with a country. Country means, nation. He doesn't identify with a state, doesn't identify with a social group or a racial group or an ethnic group. He doesn't identify with a family. He identifies with a whole universe. Okay? His understanding is he belongs to the whole cosmos. Not even a human society. See, he feels even the animals are part of him. Animals are part of him. All are his own reflections. Animals are his own reflection. Human beings are his own reflection. Even gods are his own reflection. Because he stands as an all-pervasive consciousness, so all are reflections of him. So his identification is much vaster. He identifies with the whole cosmos, whole universe. Okay, his identity is that level. Therefore, so his activity, he acts just like a baby. Now you see a baby. Can you say baby identifies with a family? You take a baby to somewhere there. You ask him, what family do you belong to? Who are your parents? Baby laughs. Baby doesn't understand who is your family also. When it sees mother and father, it recognizes and goes to them, but doesn't have the identity that I belong to this family. The conscious thought is not there. Okay. Therefore, the actions are not driven by that conscious thought of I belong to this family. His actions are not driven by the conscious thought of belonging to a society, belonging to a group of people, belonging to a country. Country means nation. Belonging to a certain society. Nothing. So the activity, plans, ideas, goals are not driven by a particular thing. So he is a spontaneous person. Spontaneous in this sense. He thinks in terms of the whole cosmos. Okay. So such person generally become free. Therefore, in a society like India, in Hinduism, we have got, I think in other places also there is some kind of a sannyasa. So, a renunciate life. Sannyasa is not belonging to another group. In fact, he is transcending all group identities. Becoming universal is sannyasa. Okay. Therefore, he becomes a sannyasi. Becomes a sannyasi, here we have to understand, sannyasa is not a becoming into another. You assume another identity. Therefore, somebody says sannyasa is your natural state because behaving like an age. Baby assumes a family identity at a later stage. As he grows up, identifies with a nation, identifies with a language, identifies with a country, identifies with a society. These identifications come later. So therefore, when you drop off all this family identity, social identity, country identity, all those things, you come back to your natural state like a baby. Therefore, that's what is sannyasa. Sannyasa means he comes to a natural state, not assumed state. Therefore, sannyasi doesn't do any action because he is not driven by any particular identity and no particular action. So only natural actions remain, like hunger and thirst, like a baby. When he feels hungry, he eats. When he feels thirsty, he drinks. When he feels sleepy, he sleeps. It doesn't look at the time and context. Wherever it is, even if traveling by train or bus or somewhere, it sleeps. Or even on the road it sleeps. Baby doesn't understand. So baby lives just very naturally. So similarly, that means there is only natural instinctive life. There is no a consciously assumed social roles. Okay, that is called sannyasa. So he lives simple deha yatra matra. See, jivana matrartha chesta. There is a simple living of the body, like an animal or a baby, just a living of the body without any consciously assumed individuality. So that is called sannyasa. Either generally he takes a sannyasa if the society has such a sannyasa permission. Otherwise, next here Shankaracharya says, Syat sarva karmani prayojanam apashyan. Because he doesn't have identity, he doesn't have money, he doesn't need money, doesn't need a status, doesn't need a extra anything, ego-based desires. Therefore, he just lives moment to moment. He lives in the present moment like a baby. He lives in the present moment. Therefore, he doesn't possess property, doesn't own money. He just lives happily present moment to moment. That is sannyasa. Or parityajatyeva karma. Therefore, he gives up karma, means spontaneously karma gets dropped. In fact, for a sannyasi, instead of saying that he renounces karma, it is better to say karma naturally gets dropped off. Because it doesn't feel that I should give up. When you are not interested, you just don't do it. It naturally happens. Because you are not consciously deciding I should not do. It doesn't think consciously I should not do the work, I should become sannyasi, because he is spontaneously sannyasi. He doesn't engage in a karma. He doesn't consciously take up he doesn't consciously pursue a line of karma, because he doesn't have a desire. He remains in a natural state. So that is a renunciation. That is his natural state. So naturally he doesn't have any extra interest in money and status. Therefore he lives a simple life, a simple natural life. When he is hungry, so Shankaracharya says, when he is hungry, looks to somebody, where somebody gives, he just eats. Therefore this is called a bhiksha. He lives a mendicant, a religious mendicant. Whoever gives the food, he lives there, and he just lives spontaneously, naturally. That is sannyasa. But sometimes what happens, if you look at from the social angle, family angle, because you are anyway part of one society, there the lifestyle of sannyasa doesn't exist in the society. In Hindu society, it is of course in Hindu, Buddhist, and in such society, sannyasa is greatly revered and respected. I don't know. Vivekananda would say, when he was walking in America in some place, somebody tried to pull his cloth, turban. He tied a cloth around his neck. Somebody from behind pulled his turban just to nag him, tease him. Vivekananda turned towards him. Then I told, okay, what can I do? He asked him, what do you want? That person understood that, oh my God, he knows English. He seems to be an educated man. Then that fellow felt ashamed. And he asked, why do you dress up like that? He felt ashamed and says that, hey, why do you dress up like that? Like an odd illiterate country boy. Like in an odd illiterate country man, why do you dress up like that? So sannyasa is not much known in some circles, in some society. What will you do? He lives like a normal man. Okay. In his inner mind he is free, but external life just continues like any other worldly man. Okay. This is what Shankaracharya says. Kutaschin nimittat. If you are living in a society where sannyasa is not there, where sannyasa, that lifestyle sannyasa is not there, what will he do? He will just continue whatever he was there. The same activity continues spontaneously. Inwardly he remains free from karma, free from individuality. But externally he appears to be doing work like any other. Like a normal person. He looks normal, but even in that normal person, you can see him a detached outlook. You can see him a spontaneous activity. Therefore, so he doesn't feel the pressure. Even though he acts, here Shankaracharya says, tat karmani tat phalecha sangarahitataya swaprayojana abhavat loka sangrahartam purvavat karmani pravruttopi. Although he seems to be active like before, but in his inward understanding is totally different person. He is no more as some old person. He is totally from a different angle, from different level he lives. Though he looks as if he is like a old man, like the same person continuing his life, but he doesn't feel the pressure of karma, doesn't feel the worry about tomorrow. Okay? The karma phala, the result of action doesn't pressurize him. The anxieties, worries doesn't pressurize him. Spontaneously, like playfully acts and playfully lives. Okay? Very relaxed man. Very, very relaxed, spontaneously. You don't see him that he is worried about something under pressure, this thing. He feels relaxed. Such a person, loka sangrahartam, this is one word beautifully used by Shankaracharya in Indian tradition. Loka sangrahartam. Loka sangraha means he just continues his life, same old worldly life, just to set an example for other sadhakas. Other sadhakas have to do karma yoga, live a life of a spiritual life, sadhanas they have to follow. When they live life, When they interact with people, how detached, how wholeheartedly you have to do, without worry, without tension, just to live spontaneously. Therefore, he becomes it is not that he has a conscious thought that he wants to set an example to others, but he continues to the same old worldly life, like other family responsibilities, he wields them. Family responsibility, social responsibility, he wields. But even wielding the responsibility looks so playful for him, so playfully without worry and tension. So that becomes a very good example. He sets an example for other sadhakas, just to live like that. Live like that without bringing your worries and tensions. So loka sangrahartam purvavat karmani pravrittopi. As though he is looking to others, he looks as if he is a normal man, continuing his worldly life, yet he is not in the worldly life. Though he is in the midst of worldly life, yet in his inner understanding he is not in the midst of inner life. This is what Shankaracharya says. So, some grihasthas. So, we find jnanis, enlightened people in two situations of life. One is in a sannyasi life, renunciate. Another is in a worldly grihastha life. He has a normal worldly life. Okay. In worldly life also you find the enlightened people, inward sannyasis. Innerly, from their standpoint, they are free from the world, free from time and place, free from individuality. They are enlightened people. They appear in the society in two contexts. One is an external sannyasa, another is same normal life. Though they are in the normal life, still you can see he is not a normal man. He is something superhuman. He looks like totally detached and playful. Though he acts like others, yet the very way of acting looks such that the action doesn't look like action at all. It is so spontaneous, like a baby's action. If a baby does something, nobody punishes the baby. Because we understand a baby doesn't do with any individual motive, any selfish motive. They just happen like water is flowing in the river. Okay, the wind is blowing. The tree is moving. You see, the branches of a tree is moving. The branches of a tree are shaking with wind. The wind is flowing. The water is blowing. The wind is blowing. The water is flowing, like that. Or you can see a dry leaf on the in the wind flying in the sky. The dry leaf flying in the wind, like that you can see them spontaneously moving. So nobody finds fault with him. Nobody accuses him, because nobody accuses a baby. Similarly, you can see even if he acts, he is so unindividualistic. Therefore, if you watch him, you can see he is no more a person. There is no personality. It looks that whole cosmos is functioning through him. Whole cosmos is expressing through him. You can see such an enlightened man so spontaneously acts. It looks that whole cosmos, whole universe is expressing through him. There is no individuality behind, like a baby. You don't see that there is an individuality there. You look at the baby, you see that you are not addressing a baby. Even if you try to talk to the baby comes impersonally. The expressions, the talking, the baby smiles, baby laughs, and you can see the impersonal expressions. Okay? If you watch them, so impersonal those expressions are. You don't see a person behind. Whereas in another normal person, you can see him, oh, he has got a particular motive. You can see him, he's looking at money, he's looking at status, he's looking at that, oh, this is mine, this is others. Okay? You can see him, the individuality is expressing. Otherwise, in a baby, no individual, very impersonal expression. Like that, even if he's a worldly man, even if he's the family responsibility, he wields them, you can see him so detached, so spontaneous, so unindividualistic, so impersonally he acts. That's what here he is very beautifully. Every sentence of Shankaracharya is amazingly. Only thing is you have to contemplate properly and understand it in your life. Therefore he says, Saprayojana abhavepi. He doesn't have any personal motive, personal goal, because he doesn't have personality there. Doesn't have individuality he doesn't have. Therefore, no individual goal, no individual motives, gain. He doesn't even desire to live also. The living happens. Otherwise, people want to live, because if supposing death comes, as he lives, even death also spontaneously he goes into death. See? He spontaneously lives, spontaneously goes into death. He doesn't even worry about death. Death also is natural for him. Other people, when somebody is trying to kill, he run away, he wants to save himself because there is a desire to live. No, I don't want to die. You can see the fear of death. He doesn't have the fear of death. The Jnani enlightened man doesn't have the fear of death. Death also so natural. Death means what? Body goes away and he remains. Nothing happens to him. He in his inner understanding, he remains eternally existing, a timeless existence. Therefore, he has no fear of death. Therefore, so spontaneously you can see him living. And that is Loka Sangrahartam. As if his very existence is a blessing to the world. Loka Sangrahartam means his very existing is a blessing. Because he is so spontaneous living, when people come and interact with him, people learn a lot from him. How spontaneous he is living, so wisely, so detached mind, so no partiality towards anybody. He loves everybody equally, loves wholeheartedly. So when people interact, people come to him, watch him, listen to him, every expression of him becomes a good teaching, good learning for others. Loka Sangraha means he lives his very living is a blessing to the humanity, blessing to the society. Therefore, this is called Loka Sangrahartam. He does action normally. He looks as if he is acting, taking family responsibilities and doing his job. But even in that job, he does it as a beautiful way, very graceful way, a detached, graceful way. And that graceful, detached, impartial way very impresses people. Because people see that, what a beautiful way of living it is. Very extraordinary way. So this when you people interact with him, people love him. Because you don't see that there is a personal vengeance against anybody. Okay? Personally exploitative mind, cheating. And he just feels that he is one with everybody. When you look at the baby, you feel that you are not interacting with another person. You talk to the baby, or you look at a tree. Do you see trees in another person other than you? You feel when you sit with a tree, you feel that you are a part of a tree. You become one with the branch. You become a branch of a tree. Because tree is not in another person, in a parallel ego with you. See, you are an individual. When you see another person opposite to you, you feel that, he's another person. You have to interact. You have to be very careful. You can't hurt him. You can't talk to him. Another person will resist. If you say something, if you say something wrong, he will feel hurt. You have to be very careful. When you are talking to another person, you have to be careful. Okay. But when you are talking to baby, you don't feel that you are talking to another person. You feel you are talking to yourself. Because baby is so impersonal. Baby is so impersonal. You feel baby is already part of you, one with you. You see a tree with the flowers and leaves, etc. You don't feel another person threatening your ego. Okay? It doesn't become a threat to your ego. You see the river. You see an ocean. You feel so vast that it is absorbing you into it. Okay? You don't feel ocean is another individual is facing against you and threatening you and working against you. A river is so spontaneously, lovingly flowing. A baby also flowing, like a wind is flowing, like the moon and the sun. Some moon is rising, you don't feel any threat. Your individuality is not threatened because he is not a competitor. He is not questioning you. He is not challenging you. Baby doesn't question you, doesn't challenge you, doesn't watch your behavior, whether you are good or bad. So you don't have to be conscious. You don't become self-conscious. Okay? You don't become self-conscious when you look at a baby. You also become natural. If you are a grown-up man, you become self-conscious. My behavior should be well. Otherwise, you don't know how he may feel bad about me. You want to give a good impression. See, you become conscious. A formality comes. With a baby, no formality. So, that means you don't feel in another individual. Similarly, with a Jnani, you don't feel in another individual. Okay? You feel when you interact with him. He's a whole cosmos. He's embracing the whole world, all nature, all plants, animals, rivers, mountains and people, living beings, everything he sees as just himself, natural. He doesn't feel challenged. He doesn't feel threatened by anybody, doesn't feel competitive with anybody. becomes naturally free. Okay? His very living is a blessing to the world. This is what Shankaracharya says. Whether he is in a Grihastha life, whether he is in a formal sannyasa life, you can see him that spontaneity. Therefore, Loka Sangrahartham Purvavat Karmani Pravrittopi, though he seemed to be in a worldly life, like a family man, like a family and job and etc., he will be working like before, but the very quality of working, the very way of thing differs. If you have a little mind, good mind, you can watch. You can see him impersonal expression. Therefore, Purvavat Karmani Pravrittopi, although he seems to be engaged in worldly activity, not a formal sannyasi, not a lifestyle of sannyasa, because in a particular society there is no sannyasa life. If there is a sannyasa life, naturally he becomes a sannyasi. If there is no sannyasa life in a particular society, then he continues the same life, but the very quality changes. Therefore, Purvavat Karmani Pravrittopi Naiva Kinchit Karoti Saha. See, a beautiful this thing. Naiva Kinchit Karoti. Though he appears to be wielding the responsibility, appears to be taking care of people, appears to be educating somebody, appears to be helping somebody, but even in help, you don't see a person is helping. It is a spontaneous help. Even if he's working with somebody, you can hear him so impersonally helping with somebody. So that you can see, though he is acting, he is akarta, he is akarma. Whether he is a sannyasi, whether he is a worldly life, yet you can see he is akarma. So the earlier shloka, the 18th shloka which we discussed elaborately in 3 or 4 classes, that akarma, how that akarma, that 18th shloka talks of akarma from his standpoint, from his own anubhava. Now he is talking in this 19th and 20th, I think another 2 or 3 shlokas. I think 19th, 20, 22, I think up to 23, even 24 you can say, up to 24. 19 to 24, I think 20 to 24 shlokas. 18th, 19th is talking about his own anubhava, from his standpoint, his own experience. But from the 20 to 24, these 5 shlokas, how he appears to the worldly standpoint, from the other's standpoint, how he appears from the worldly standpoint. Okay, this is explaining that his very presence is a joy for others, the very presence is a blessing for others. He does not a competitive, doesn't threaten others, doesn't become a problem and tension to others. You can feel very spontaneous. Like baby, nobody feels threatened with a baby. Do you feel that baby is going to cheat me or hurt me? As you look at the baby, even if you are a worried person, still you feel relaxed because no threatened, no challenge, no worry, no challenging to prove you something. It doesn't want you, it challenge you to prove something. Come on, do something. Why did you do? No accusation, no feeling threatened. Naturally, that is an enlightened man. So therefore, though he is acting, his actions do not threaten others. Okay, his actions do not threaten others. His talking doesn't frighten, threaten, pressurize others, because he acts very spontaneously love, out of spontaneous love, out of infinite love, because he is everything as himself. Okay, so pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti, because jnanagdagdha karmatva. His enlightenment burns away. His enlightenment burns away the apparent individuality, the apparent actions. I mean, from the worldly standpoint, whatever that apparent lifestyle of a worldly man, that is acting, that he looks like a person, all that is an apparent alone. From his inner understanding of his spirituality, all this burns away. Burns away means it is like a newspaper. Okay, a newspaper is there, and once the newspaper is, a heap of newspapers are burnt. What do you see them? Do you see the newspaper? Or it was old newspaper, now you have only a form of newspaper which is burnt away. Like a statue of a person. Statue of a person, Mahatma Gandhi statue we find often in India. Okay, the statue of Gandhi, you don't see that he is a person. You only see a form of Gandhi, but there is no Gandhi here. There is only a form, a photo of a person. Like that, because the real individuality, the karma, all that is burnt away with his knowledge, with his enlightenment. Jnanagni dagdha karmatvat. See, this is Shankaracharya's statements, how beautiful they are. Jnanagni dagdha karmatvat. The karmas, the individuality, the duality, his mind and thoughts and etc., they are all imbued with consciousness. Burnt away means they are all filled with his enlightened consciousness. The enlightened consciousness fills up all his personality, all his actions, thoughts, all that thing, they appear so spontaneous. Therefore, it ceases to be karma actually. It is no more a karma. It is only apparent karma, not a real karma at all. Therefore, tadiyam karma akarmaiva sampadyate, the Shankara's ultimate conclusion. He looks like acting, but his all activities are not action. Like baby's action, we take them lightly. If somebody does something, suppose you put a book on the table and somebody disturbs it, you get angry. Hey, who disturbed this thing? I told him not to disturb it, not to touch it. It is so valuable book. It is so valuable thing. Then somebody tells, no, the baby has come touched it. Okay. If baby does it, you don't consider it as a karma at all. If a baby does it to you, do you go and shout at the baby and beat them? Why did you touch my book? Because baby's karma is not karma at all. Okay? Baby did it, but you don't consider it as an action at all. Baby's doing is a spontaneous expression. You don't consider it as an action. Action means a conscious, a willful action. You don't consider it as a willful action. Similarly, Jnani's actions are so spontaneous. Therefore, they have no karma phala. They don't produce punyam papam. They don't produce unseen result like punyam and papam. They don't bind him. Like baby's karma do not produce punya papa. Punya papa means you have to be reborn or second birth you take and you have to pay for those karma. Baby's karma, nobody gives him punya papa. God also doesn't give him. Therefore, baby doesn't have to pay. You have done. See, even according to law also, baby does something, hurts somebody. Nobody takes the baby and punishes them. Because baby doesn't know that it is hurting somebody. It doesn't have an intention to hurt somebody. It loves everybody in its innocence. In its innocence, it loves everybody normally, commonly it loves everybody. Therefore, it doesn't have a motive to hurt somebody, motive to exploit somebody. Therefore, no punishment for baby's actions. Similarly, Jnani's actions, no punya, no papa. Therefore, they are not karma at all. This is where he is akarma. Akarma in this sense. Apparently, there is a karma. But the actuality, it ceases to be karma because it is only a false appearance. It's the real effect of karma doesn't exist. The real binding nature of karma. Because karma makes you an individual, but he is no more an individual. He is no more an individual. Therefore, the karma doesn't bind him. Neither in this life, he doesn't have the next life also because he lives timeless existence. He transcends the time and individuality and lives as the pure existence, whole cosmic existence, whole cosmic being. Okay. Ityetamartham darshayishannaha. So keeping this in view, the next shloka, 20th shloka. So Shankaracharya gave an introduction. So with this background, you read the 20th shloka, you will understand it. Therefore, keep this explanation which we have given today and also in the previous class. Okay. These two classes, previous one and the present one, has been only on this passage of Shankaracharya's passage as an introduction to 20th shloka. So this passage, keep this explanation, these two classes in view and read out the 20th shloka. You understand. This is the state of Jnani. Tyaktva karma phala sangam. 20th shloka I am reading out. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Karmanyabhipravrittopi. As though he is acting like a normal person. Family responsibility, his job and society. As though he is acting is a part of a society. He is a part of family, part of society, as though he looks like that. In his inwardly he is not. Therefore, tyaktva vai karmanyabhipravrittopi. Ante, although he is engaged in activity, yet he is not an action. He is not an individual and his action is not an action. He appears to be individual, he is not an individual. He is appearing to be acting, yet he is not acting. Oh, what a wonder it is, because karmanya karmaya pashyet, that 18th shloka. Because tyaktva karma phala sangam, he doesn't have an attachment for karma phala. He has an attachment neither for karma. That means he neither feels the pressure to act, nor he is motivated by the result. Karma phala sakti, motive of result. Motive means a desire for result. And karma sakti means he doesn't feel the pressure to act. See, the pressure to act is karma sakti. The motive for result is karma phala sakti. He has neither. Okay. He has neither karma phala sakti, nor he has pressure in doing karma, nor he feels identified with the karma. You see, baby, you ask the baby does something, you tell, what did you do? Baby just innocently tells it. Neither feels proud of that work as, supposing you tell the baby, you bring that, it brings and gives you. Oh, nice baby, you have done it. Oh, cute baby, nice. When you say, baby doesn't feel proud that he has done something good. Or if you did something wrong, baby doesn't feel that I have done something wrong. It's just a play. The good and bad, you attach to it. We attach. But the baby, it's just a simple action. It is neither good nor bad. It's just a movement, that's all. It is a movement without attaching good and bad to it. Okay? It's a simple movement. Therefore, he doesn't feel the pressure in the karma. It doesn't feel the motive for desire, motive for the result. He just acts. Such a person, tyaktva karma phala sangam nitya truptaha, is always eternally contented. Contented means very satisfied. He doesn't lack any. He doesn't feel any dissatisfied with anything. A dissatisfaction means a desire. If you are not happy, you look for something. You want something. So you don't feel that he looks for something, he is waiting for something, he wants something. You always look at him. He is always where he is. He is always relaxed and happy with whatever he is. In whatever he is, wherever he is always full. His mind doesn't run into tomorrow, next moment. Oh, what do I need it? Generally, human mind doesn't stay in the present. It runs into future. He remains in the present, always in the present, next present, always in the present moment, with a fully like baby. Okay? Nitya trupto, always happy and contented, fully happy. Nirashrayaha. Ashraya means psychological dependency. People want security, social security, economic security, emotional security. This security is ashraya. See, the Sanskrit word is a beautiful word, ashraya. Shankaracharya explains, ashraya is some money, some work, some status, something in the world. See, people live happily seeing something. You talk to the normal people, what makes you proud? Oh, I hold a big degree, I am highly educated man. Or you have contributed something to society, you have achieved something. Your achievements make you happy. You look at your achievement, you feel proud and tell others that yes, I have achieved something, and that makes you happy. I feel proud. Some people have money. Some people have a good name in the society. Oh, I got a good name. I have helped the society. I have served for so many years. I got a good name. Okay? So all these things are external things you hold. Or some people say, I have got my daughter, my son, or my wife, my husband, my father or mother. Somebody, you have somebody. You feel very loving, you love them, you take care of them, and you feel very proud of them. Because of that one person makes you feel your life worth living. So everybody has something in the world, some object, some person, some achievement, some status, some money, something. These things you depend upon, oh, that makes you feel proud. For Jnani has nothing other than his Atma. How beautiful it is. Nothing other than his very being. His very being himself is a very fulfilling being. He doesn't look upon anything outside for support. Ashraya is a support for his inner security. He doesn't feel insecure. You put him in any society, any economic status, rich or poor, any social status, when a society is recognizing you, respecting you, or the whole society boycotting you. Even if the whole society boycotts you, looks down upon you, put you in jail, they criticize you, still he feels natural. He doesn't feel humiliated. He feels very spontaneous. So neither he needs a social recognition, social security, nor an economic security, nor he needs an emotional security. Oh, I need my people, my relatives. He transcends the need of security. Okay? He transcends the need of security and he becomes a nirashrayaha. Nirashrayaha. That means he doesn't depend upon anything other than himself. His very being is full by itself. Nityatruptaha. His very being is everything. Everything is only a false appearance, like a dream. Like a dream world when you wake up. Do you depend upon any objects in the dream world? No money, status or anything. All dream world is a false. It doesn't exist for you. So you alone exist. Similarly, karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. There is no karma for him. Therefore he is akarma. Though he seemed to be acting, yet is akarma. Okay? 20th shloka. We have finished. I think if there is anything left out, we will talk in the next class and then proceed with the next shloka. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.